How long does replacing a cartridge like this take? When you say this filter needs to be replaced once a year?
It won't take even 5 minutes. The whole operation simply involves turning off the water and waiting for it to stop. Our lid, a neat double-jointed setup, can be easily unscrewed to access the cartridge. Once the old cartridge is removed, the replacement can be inserted and the lid can be screwed back on. Then, all you have to do is turn the water back on and let it run. This task can be easily accomplished by anyone.
Yes.
Even older people can do it.
You don't have to be a handyman.
No.
Excessive limescale damages pipes and technology in the building. Drinking calcareous water sparingly is advisable. Which systems maximize benefits for users and investors? Should the janitor still refill the desalination system monthly, or are there other alternatives? Is it still appropriate for the janitor to fill the desalination system every month, or are there any alternatives? Dr. Fabio Hüther is on the podcast with me. He is one of the leading water experts and founder of Evodrop, a Swiss company for water treatment systems. We look at the question of whether there are still alternatives to desalination plants. Welcome to the podcast. Hello, Fabio.
Hello, Marco. Thank you very much for the audience. I'm delighted.
It's great to have you here. We have a series of water podcasts, if I may say so. We Swiss do have clean drinking water. Or is our drinking water too calcareous? What would you say?
Yes, it's not the equivalent of cleanliness and limescale, logically including what you initially mentioned. Whether you were more calcareous, there are much worse pollutants like nitrates or something like that, and too much of that is just lime. Yes, various studies say that too much calcium is like supplementing with calcium and can also lead to osteoarthritis and the like. But then we're talking about supplementation. Here, of course, we have very calcareous water, as we see everywhere. We have a website on Evodrop where you can get profound and factual information. We have an Everlime, as we call it, a whole set of statistics where anyone can enter their town or zip code and you can see how hard the water is. We already have the old limestone, dolomite rocks, limestone rocks and so on. Of course, with the rain, or since industrialization, you have acid rain. The more acidic the water, the more rock or the like is naturally transported away and then logically also gets into the water, and we have to struggle with that.
And are there solutions for that? So how can I get around this limescale problem? And what different systems are available on the market?
Indeed, salt offers highly effective solutions that involve ion exchange, allowing for the removal of a significant portion of calcium and magnesium from drinking water. However, the treated water is then mixed with regular water in order to minimize its corrosiveness. The challenge lies in achieving a substantial reduction in order for people to truly notice a significant difference. Consequently, the water can often exhibit strong corrosiveness, leading to damage to pipes, valves, or adapters. Another approach involves seed crystallization, which targets organisms such as mussels. Similar to how mussels cleanse lakes and oceans, this method effectively absorbs limescale and subsequently releases it in a smaller form. It works to a certain extent, and then some are not qualified or certified by these authorities because they cannot generate 80% limescale protection efficiency. That's what we call magnets, electromagnets and coils like that. They are of course attractive to people because you do not need to cut open any pipes, unlike salt systems or our systems currently require. Simply tie it around the pipes, but the lime effect will never reach 80%. This is why we recommend it to people. We have observed that it has only a minimal effect, and to satisfy our curiosity, we have quantified and analyzed it in the laboratory. However, based on our empirical studies, we can say that it ranges from 10% to a maximum of 30%. Unlike other systems, we have a workplace certification from DVGW, a recognized German association for gas and water, and also from SVGW, the Swiss Association for Gas and Water. We meet the requirements set by these associations, which mandate achieving at least 80% Limescale protection efficiency. We have achieved an outstanding 94.2% efficiency, making us the top choice. In fact, we even conducted a second test where we achieved a perfect score of 100%. Therefore, we can confidently say that we are the best in the market and offer comparable results as softening systems that use salt.
How much limescale would you say the human body needs when it consumes this with water? Does it need limescale at all?
Yes, the method of intake is not primarily through water. This aspect is considered less significant because there are alternative ways to consume calcium, such as in milk, including oat milk. It is believed, according to technical terminology, that consuming calcium with milk results in a greater intake compared to water, primarily due to the difference in bioavailability. However, the extent of bioavailability remains a controversial topic. Some studies suggest that the body can absorb over 60% of calcium in this form. Conversely, other studies indicate that inorganic minerals, when consumed, are only 10%, 15% or 20% available. In essence, when considering these factors, it would require consuming anywhere from 20 to 40 liters of water per day to achieve any significant effect. Consequently, this approach becomes unrealistic as it exceeds the normal consumption of about 10 liters of water a day. Worker who is not working in construction and is constantly exposed to heat will die from water poisoning from 10 liters or so. No, man.
That's not what we want. In my old apartment where I didn't have an Evodrop system, there was a desalination system. Depending on whether the desalination system was set correctly or not, I could taste the salt in the drinking water. So the drinking water tasted salty. So how does the Evodrop water behave?
Yes, that's correct. We're discussing the idea of diversifying or differentiating when it comes to salt usage. This approach can be advantageous, but it's important to note that the salt systems primarily remove calcium and magnesium. However, a minimal amount of these minerals is still mixed back into the system to prevent excessive corrosiveness. Consequently, the water ends up containing a higher concentration of sodium than before. This increase is a logical consequence of the process. We also offer various options such as tenant mirrors or similar products, making our systems increasingly popular. This is the main reason for their popularity. Additionally, in the majority of cases, their effectiveness is compromised due to improper maintenance. People often neglect signing a maintenance contract or allowing it to expire. As a result, the water can become visibly affected. Even with a regular house filter, many people notice their filters turning completely green. Despite our best efforts to train and educate our plumbers and technicians on this matter, the information often goes unnoticed or is disregarded. People mistakenly believe that they can save a few cents or francs by not following proper guidelines. These seemingly minor details contribute to the overall quality of our water. Are elementary for hygiene and health.
Exactly. And you often can't tell by looking at the water.
That's right.
To improve health and remove harmful bacteria, the Evodrop filter effectively descales by eliminating substances that should not be present. Evince changes work to ensure water remains healthy and free from contaminants.
Yes, that's definitely the most epochal question of all. We have an apple amino acid complex. That means we use apples. We take the malic acid from the apples. This is a natural product. You can also buy malic acid as a dietary supplement, for example, for gastrointestinal complaints or dissertations. It is also used as a stabilizer in foods, for example, in almost every lemonade or similar product. And we, originally from Thurgau, were also known as cider Indians, weren't we? The high stem apples were, of course, apple cider vinegar, our grandmother's tried and tested household remedy. It was quickly soaked in water and the lime scale was removed. And we then patented it, and the innovation is that we have malic acid granules. These are very small beads between 2 and 3 millimeters in diameter. The water flows through them and dissolves the lime scale compound, so to speak, because lime itself is not calcium or magnesium, but calcium carbonates. So they are bound to oxide groups, carbonate groups, and so on. And we dissolve that. This means that the calcium is then complexed. There is a complexation and a kind of gelatin layer. This can now be visualized or imagined like an omega-3 capsule or something similar. You've probably seen this before with medicines or food supplements that have a kind of protective film. And the same thing happens to us. Our malic acid forms a protective film. The calcium is encased in a protective film or simply surrounded by it, acting as a shield that poses no harm to the mineral. This film allows for the safe transport of calcium, resulting in an effective and sustainable lime scale protection effect. Even when the water is heated up to 100 degrees, the film remains stable. In contrast, other technologies may experience changes in structure or a similar outcome when exposed to heat.
Something similar.
Unlike these technologies, our method uses a minimal amount of malic acid. To provide some context, we only require around 2 or 3 grams of malic acid per 1,000 liters of water. This amount is significantly low. To put this into perspective, a softening system that utilizes salt for medium hard water hardness consumes approximately 100 to 120 kilograms of salt per year in a family household of 4. In comparison, we only need 1 kilogram of malic acid for the same purpose. So they are 100 times more. We only need 1 kilogram of malic acid. The reason behind this phenomenon is referred to as the Dresselt effect in the field of chemistry and science. This particular effect ensures that we can achieve the desired outcome with a significantly lower amount of malic acid compared to the usual requirement.
This idea is incredibly thrilling. The concept revolves around the lime creating a protective coating, preventing the formation of lime deposits. It allows for absorption by individuals. However, some may not succeed in doing so.
No, it's actually even more fascinating. For instance, if you purchase magnesium oxide as a dietary supplement, there is also magnesium malate available. The unique aspect of our patented technology is that it enables the production of magnesium malate. Magnesium malate is a compound in which magnesium is bound to malic acid, an amino acid. This combination offers 4 times greater bioavailability or cellular accessibility for the body when compared to normal inorganic minerals. While we cannot make official health claims due to regulations, there have been some studies suggesting that the inclusion of malic acid, other amino acids, and minerals in this compound further enhances its bioavailability for the body.
It's absolutely thrilling. This also ties back to the concept of biohacking. We just conducted an interview on this specific subject. So if you're even more intrigued by this, make sure to check out the previous interview. It's mind-blowing. We continuously refer to the importance of properly treated, healthy water for our bodies. Additionally, we have numerous other inquiries in store. But before that, let me quickly mention something. You have a showroom situated in Dietlikon, Switzerland. Could you provide us with a succinct overview? What kinds of products or services are available there? What can visitors expect to find there?
We have various sales partners, including for people who come from Western Switzerland, the Bern or St. Gallen region or similar, where you can get competent and professional advice. We are located in Dietlikon and Brütisellen. We also have several showrooms, sales staff, technicians and plumbers there, so that's where we are based and where our employees are based. A customer can register via the website www.evodrop.com using the registration form. A telephone consultation, video consultation, personal consultation, time, date, everything can be configured automatically. And we then advise them there. We have the systems logically installed everywhere in the building. You can show them, you can describe it to people in a really tangible way so that it sounds plausible to everyone, because especially with the scaling systems without salt, logically many people are, just because of all these trade fairs with such pseudoscientific devices, branded children, and now someone new is coming again. We have ample evidence to substantiate this claim. Numerous studies and certifications, which we will display or provide links to, are excessively intricate for individuals to comprehend. Furthermore, it is true that the more intricate the material is, the greater difficulty others will have in understanding or connecting with it. Yes, and that's why we want to be able to experience a water and you can taste it. You can taste the difference right away and experience the distinctiveness.
Absolutely. I also have a system like this at home. We've never had to descale our coffee machine since. Unbelievable. In the old apartment, despite the descaling system, we had to descale it. Then we put in the Evodrop system and it's been quiet ever since. And now in the new apartment, yes, it's a completely different feeling and you can taste it. You know it's healthy. Yes. You know you're doing something good for your body. It's quite simple. It's a no-brainer. Everyone should at least give it a try and be open to healthy water. We are now going one step further. A general contractor or architectural firm is building an apartment building. You want to have a system there, a decalcification system. How do you proceed as a general contractor? What are the advantages of installing a descaling system from Evodrop?
That's right, that is particularly interesting, and you also have significant effects, i.e. savings. We have also listed this on the website because we don't need wastewater or electricity thanks to these acidification granulates. This also means that these monthly measurements of pH value and so on, which are necessary, are no longer necessary for us at all. It is no longer relevant. We calibrate the device so that it simply lasts a year individually for each village, or that it is drinking water compliant, that it is revised and replaced once a year every 12 months due to hygiene compliance. And of course that saves a huge amount of space because you no longer have to use landfills of...
What should I replace? You mentioned replacing a certain ingredient such as salt.
Just the waste acid is a small cartridge and it's filled with apple acid, and depending on, we have single family homes up to, I think the biggest project we've done now is between 340 to 350 apartments, so we can really individualize on a very large scale. That's what we stand for as a water engineering company. We can realize individual concepts where other products, for example, don't have this multifaceted variability.
How long does replacing a cartridge like this take? If you say that this filter needs to be replaced once a year?
It won't even take 5 minutes. The maximum time required is just to shut off the water and wait until it stops flowing. At the top we have a simple lid which is actually designed with a double joint mechanism. You simply unscrew it, remove the old cartridge, insert the new one, screw it back on, turn the water back on and let it flow. This task is so simple that anyone can do it, including older individuals.
You don't have to be a handyman.
No. To repeat that, it's a no-brainer. We have video instructions and everything, and it's super simple. That's also attractive for clients, construction investors, and general contractors because you no longer need a third-party contract. You can do it yourself via the janitor. You save a lot of time. You no longer have any wastewater or electricity costs. You only have to replace the cartridges once a year. And you also have no influence on the taste. the water simply becomes softer and it won't take on a different taste component. It just tends to become softer as you described. And that's also very palatable for people, and that's also appreciated as added value when such a system is installed. Because everyone in a condominium or rented apartment has a coffee machine, tea maker or something similar, and if it's ultimately good water that's treated and limescale free, then that's also appreciated and people are happy to pay a bit more for such an apartment. And the latter also brings us to the issue of ESG, or environmental social governance, where many larger construction investors, groups and companies have to adjust or characterize themselves according to this. It has almost become an obligation or this kind of thing. And of course we can score points here or everywhere with these Minergy points that you can collect, for example, because we have no electricity, no wastewater. That's several tens of thousands of liters per year, or wastewater can be generated with other products, and with us that's not the case. Plus it's a natural product with apple acid, and that's very interesting to build more sustainable buildings at this level. And this added value can definitely be, well, we know that we have so many thousands of installations in Switzerland alone with over 30,000 customers worldwide. We know, or with the report, that is valued. We are in an era and time where that is valued.
How good is this Evodrop decalcification for the pipes in the buildings? For hot water pipes, for cold water pipes? What test results are there?
That is correct. We are currently located at the point of entry, commonly referred to as the entry point, immediately following the water meter. From this stage onward, or even if not starting from this stage, the owner assumes full authority and responsibility. At this juncture, our main focus is on reducing water meter pressure by implementing our systems, which essentially entails outfitting the entire household with a boiler. As a result, appliances like washing machines and dishwashers will no longer require excessive amounts of fabric softener or detergent due to the decrease in limescale aggression. This reduction in aggression allows for more effective dissolving of the substances. Additionally, there are multiple benefits to be obtained from utilizing this water, which we have thoroughly described on our website. One crucial aspect to take into account is that when dealing with hard water, limescale gradually accumulates anywhere from 1 to 10 millimeters, which is equivalent to 1 centimeter, over the course of 1, 2, or perhaps even 3 years. Consequently, this leads to a 10% to 15% increase in the heat coefficient. In certain cases, the accumulation becomes so severe that it constricts the passage of pipes to the point where not even a finger can fit through. While water may still be able to flow, the energy required to maintain the system significantly rises. These underlying factors often go unnoticed by end users. The visible effects of hard water, like calcified shower walls, are just a small part of the problem. Maintaining the integrity of the pipes is crucial, as the cost of repairs or renovations can amount to tens of thousands of francs.
It doesn't make much difference for the tenant, but if I were to purchase a condominium and discover that there is an Evodrop system installed, which effectively deals with limescale by either preventing it or eliminating it, then I can conclude that the pipes are in good condition. In this case, there would be no need to renovate the pipes, as you just mentioned. This also presents a notable financial benefit, as the system would pay for itself relatively quickly. Very, very good. I have one more question. All the salt from the desalination plants goes to the sewage treatment plant. It is removed there as well as possible, but we also have more and more salinization of our waters. What can you tell us about that?
Our excessive use of road salt during the winter season is undeniably the root cause of this issue. In Germany, certain projects have resorted to alternative methods, such as using concocted cucumber water as a replacement for salt. However, it is worth noting that even cucumber water contains residual salt traces. Interestingly, there are both federal states and international countries that have explicitly forbidden the use of systems like cucumber water for deicing roads and sidewalks, because you have a rinsing cycle, and this rinsing cycle leaves this calcium and magnesium together. So the salt is sodium chloride. The sodium then flows into the water as a substitute or as a supplement with a little calcium, magnesium, but more sodium, of course. And the chloride from the sodium chloride from the salt is then flushed into the wastewater during regeneration with the calcium, magnesium, and then, of course, it can create problems after a certain point. The surface water or similar can then logically lead to problems and can logically also be very corrosive or pollute the environment. And that is a fundamental advantage of our technology. It is not a problem at all for microorganisms, aquatic life, or the environment because it is simply malic acid. It can't do anything.
Wow. Yes. So there's not much more to say. Try it out. In terms of space requirements, such a system is no bigger than a desalination plant, I assume. What does a sanitary engineer have to consider when planning? Is there an important point where you say, as an architect or geo, you have to keep your finger on the pulse?
No, in principle, we work according to these LUs, these lower units. These are the peak flow rates, which are relevant for building protection insurance,
Yes.
fire departments, etc. And as soon as we have these facts or figures in front of us, we align the system with the values. And it's usually 1 inch to a maximum of 2-inch pipes anyway, and we have compatible systems for that.
So engineers can get in touch
No,
with
we
you.
possess a plethora of D-data encompassing various elements and applicability in BIM or compatible software programs. Thus, it signifies a highly sophisticated
Very
approach.
nice. That's exactly what we want to hear. That's the final word. What projects are in the pipeline? What direction is Evodrop heading in?
We are particularly interested in establishing ourselves abroad, of course, because the issue controversial. And in Switzerland, we have a fascinating project with the Umweltarena. We are going to build the pool there. They have a pool where we have been using our latest technology, which we have been testing and researching for years. And we have had this Evo pool on the market since this year. In our efforts to ensure the cleanliness of water and eliminate germs and algae, we have developed a sustainable solution that is not only patented but doubly so. This means that we do not need to rely on bromine, chlorine, or any similar chemicals for disinfection. Instead, our system works in conjunction with a regular sand or glass filter. It is essential to us that we consider the environmental impact of our solutions, such as our softening system or descaling system, which utilizes malic acid. Whether it's within an exhibition or in the Technorama, where families and children come to learn, we believe that our sanitation system will integrate seamlessly, becoming an integral part of the school's environment. Somewhere through comprehensible and plausible, and somewhere through also very suspicious and bizarre, everything that is not with salt is simply generalized. This is pseudoscience and quackery. Logically, other companies are then discredited because they are like that. And we have sanitary engineers who have trained as head fitters or at a technical college. So we know what we are talking about, and that is why we are very proud and grateful and share with this Umweltarena to be able to realize this and also to be able to receive people there, visitors, to take them into the pool, hopefully also into their swimming trunks, into the pool, so that you can see that it really is drinking water. It's drinking water, it's not toxic or anything else. And with the decalcification, you can see how compact and compatible the system really is and how simple it is to use.
When will it be available to the public?
That will probably be at the beginning of July.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. Describe us very briefly. We will be doing a podcast on the subject of pools at a later date. Many Swiss people still have a pool. It's usually a time-consuming task to clean the pool, keep it clean, have no algae, etc., which of course solves a huge problem. This of course solves a huge problem. How does the water feel when you swim in it?
Wonderful, because as a child I grew up in Lake Constance. We still had swimming school in the indoor pool. As a privileged village with several communities, it was inevitable to encounter the strong presence of chlorine within the pool. The experience was not without its drawbacks. The distinct taste of chlorine lingered on your tongue, causing itching and irritation to your eyes. Furthermore, the situation exacerbated when small children, or children in general, left traces of urine in the pool, intensifying the already strong taste. This is a disadvantage specifically related to chlorine. In contrast, here in our village, we have overcome this issue entirely. You can now take a glass of water from our pool and drink it without detecting any taste of chlorine. Our advancements have even led us to conduct cell studies to enhance our understanding of this endeavor. With skin cells that were simply skin cells, and we were able to prove that this water is more tolerable than normal tap water. So just imagine the water in the pool is better for your skin than normal tap water in Switzerland. That's phenomenal. That's
Very cool.
Epic, and it's really brilliant, and you can still bathe in it. So I think it's worth every penny to buy a system like this.
So pack your swimming trunks when you go to the environmental arena. Maybe you can go for a swim in their company, Evodrop and Fabio. Maybe we'll do it sometime. Let's see how funny we are, but it's cool. That would be a cool idea.
Would be cool. We're in.
I would be really happy. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, sharing your know-how, your expertise. I wish you and you continued success, of course. Thank you.
Thank you also, Marco.